And with no further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our speakers today. Our moderator for this session is Nicolas Ouellet, TV and radio host at Radio-Canada. Nicolas currently produces and presents Jusqu'au bout on Radio-Canada's Ici Première and is a panelist on C'est juste de la TV, a long-running TV review and critic series on Radio-Canada's Ici RTV. He also likes to DJ and drink wine, just so you know. Apparently the wine also helps with the English. Joining us as well is the writer and director of Souterrain, Sophie Dupuis. Sophie is known for her impactful and disturbing style of storytelling in today's cinema. After making many acclaimed short films, Sophie went on to direct her first feature film, Chien de Garde, in 2018, showing her brilliant talent as an actress-director. The film earned 8 nominations at Quebec Cinema Awards, 4 nominations at the 2019 Canadian Screen Awards, and was selected to represent Canada at the 2018 Oscars. She is now presenting her new film, Souterrain, as a suspenseful drama featuring a group of men united by a beautiful friendship working together in a gold mine. And I will now pass it off to Nicolas to get us started. Thank you both and welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
Yay, hi. Thanks, Mara. It was a great presentation. So Sophie, 2 French-speaking people having a conversation in English. It will be interesting, but before the conversation, we have to see a trailer of that marvelous movie that is Souterrain, Underground. So let's see it and then we'll talk after.
Hey, bonne journée, petits boys! Ça commence à boire, ça m'arrête.
S'il était sur le chantier, on peut s'attendre au pire.
Fais pas ça!
On peut pas revenir en arrière, Mario! Je fais tout pour me racheter, là!
Ça m'entendra pas, mon gars!
That's the trailer. I was looking at you all the way through the trailer. How does it feel to see your images, your film condensed in that kind of short trailer?
I like trailers. That it's the best for me.
Yeah,
and the energy that it was really important for us to show that energy that we can find in the film. So I think we managed to show it, and yeah, I like it.
yeah, you nailed it. We feel the intensity, the vulnerability as well of the characters in that short trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say to people, if you have any questions for Sophie, we'll take them in like 15 or 20 minutes, or you can write them in the Q&A box. And if there's some French-speaking people that would feel freer to ask questions in French, don't worry, write them in French and I'll kind of translate them as we go. So Sophie, I know you talked about it quite a lot in interviews, but I want to level the field for everybody. I want you to talk to me about the kind of process that led you, the 10-year process that led you to that film Underground.
Yeah, I'm from Val d'Or, which is a mine city, and yeah, we have a lot of gold mine. So everybody around us worked in mine. My cousins, my dad, my uncle, everybody. So it was common for us, and but we never really went underground. And when I was a student at university in cinema, I was visiting my dad back in Val d'Or, and he bring me underground during a work shift. And I said, oh my God, that's insane. Yeah. I have to do a film. I have to make a film about mines one day. So that was like 15 years ago. And in 2010, I decided to stay like for a summer in Val d'Or to do my research. So I went underground in a lot of mines, different mines, and meet miners and talk to them. And I was researching for my real subject, because a mine is a context. It's it's a place where my characters are working, but it's not the subject of the film. So I was looking for that, and it took me a long time to decide what I to choose what I would talk about. And so 10 years.
10 years in the
yeah.
making, but we finally got the chance to see it, and I hope a lot of people will get the chance to see it
Yeah.
as soon as possible. I just want to shout out to Michael, who said "Who's Sophie" in the chat. So who's Sophie? It's
Thank
for
you.
Hi, Michael. So let's talk about underground, like Souterrain, the title, because clearly Souterrain refers to that underground world, to the mine world, to the miners, but it, for me, surely, and for you as well, has kind of another sense, another meaning. What do you mean by Souterrain? What does it mean to you, that title?
It can be like the underground of those people, of those characters that they, at the beginning, mostly they keep for themselves, they hide to the others, and during the film some of the characters will open up, or just get vulnerable, or evolve in some way by getting vulnerable with the others. And so it was souterrain, but les souterrains des gens.
Les souterrains intérieurs, as we would say in French. You're talking about these men, you're talking about vulnerability. There's a lot to say about masculinity. You kind of touched the subject in Chien de Garde, but in Souterrain, we kind of explore that masculinity, not that kind of toxic, but kind of men trying to find their deep ways, their souterrain, a little bit deeper. How, what has to be said about that masculinity that you wanted to explore in Souterrain?
I didn't, it wasn't really a goal to talk about masculinity at first, when I wanted to do a film about mines. And when I was there, I saw them being really like, they had an idea of what masculinity is and should be, but I saw the vulnerability and the affection, the care they have for each other, and it was really like contradictory to see them like being really like tough, and you have to work hard and blah blah, but they were really like, oh my god, he's feeling that way, and really like, it was really beautiful to see and to hear. And I saw that there, and I wanted to show that, and to challenge my character with that.
It's as if the strength implied in masculinity, or in the past version of masculinity, becomes a game in a way, because you see these men, they're playing the role of a man, but what they're feeling deep inside and what they are is totally different. So I guess, and I know you work hard with your actors before shooting, you rehearse a lot, you talk to each and every one of the actors to really get to the bottom of what they are playing. What kind of conversations did you have with your actors before going on set?
Well, we do like, I do like 5 weeks of rehearsals at least for both of my feature films. And for me, it's really important because we talk about like everything that we feel in each scene, or in for the film at large. And we may, sometimes my actors, they even can change my intentions about some scene, or the film in general. So we're talking about this, about the responsibility my character is feeling for the other, the la culpabilité, the guilt.
The guilt,
and everything, the relation between them. It's mostly, rehearsals are mostly discussions. We're not making the scene really that much. That's not really important.
It's about finding the truth of the characters in the story you want to tell,
and understand them. And there's a point in the rehearsals where my characters get to know their no, my actors get to know their characters better than me.
Yeah.
And that's the point that I want to reach. And from there, I let them really like free. And sometimes on the set, they can say, let me do the thing that I think in my head, just let me. And every time they do that, it's the take that we use in the editing, because they know better.
So I think when I hear you speak about your actors, I think about every one of them: James Einman, Bernard Italien, Joachim Robillard, Michael Gouin, Seb Leblanc, and all those guys. Yeah. But there's one that we have to talk about, the little genius, Théodore Pellerin, which you have a great relationship with.
Yeah.
And I know the part that he has to play in that movie is not an easy part. I know you worked hard with him. You talked about him a lot about it. And you did the work on his side as well. How did you approach this relationship with Théodore Pellerin from Chien de Garde to Souterrain? And how did he surprised you on the set?
Since Chien de Garde, Théodore and I are really good friends. So it was just, for me, I was writing, and it's the only actor that was in my mind since the first line I wrote for Underground. And it was just a no-brainer. Because Théodore, you said it, he's a genius. He's really like, he can bring so much to a film, and he loves his character so much that he always find way to show them, like, with even in Chien de Garde, his character was horrible. But he managed to make us love him.
Yeah, of course.
So he worked with a lot of love. And we work a lot for Souterrain, because he's playing a disabled character who was not disabled before, but get in a car accident and get disabled from there. And so we did a lot of research. We went to a physiotherapist to ask what kind of
impairments you would have, and what kind of movements you would do.
And the language and everything, and we choose together, Théodore and I. So it was not like, you're like this. We choose together, and we went to see an orthophonist, which is specialist in language
and speech
and speaking, right? And she tell us what it is to be aphasic. Sorry, I don't have the term in English.
It's okay. We're getting through it.
So he went to the Théâtre Aphasique of Montreal, which is a theater troupe of people with the same disability that he has, and he met them and passed time with them, and that was when I was shooting in Val d'Or. So when we finished the shooting with Théodore, he said, "So that's Julien. That's how he is." And I said, "Good, do what you think, and it's gonna be good."
Oh, you can't go wrong, or at least we haven't seen it yet. Let's talk a little bit about how you worked with the real miners, because you went underground. You said it in some interviews that you were kind of disturbing their peace in the underground, but they kind of were there to help you, to guide you. They helped you find the truth in almost every scene that happened underground. How did you develop that relationship, and how did they help you really get that film right?
But at first, we had to convince them to let us shoot in their producing mines. So we shot in 2 mines. So that was a big. They were really generous to let us film there, because that's really complicated for them. So that's the first step. And after they realized that we wanted to do an homage to them, and that we were we wanted to make this in like really realistic. And when they get that, they were really generous too. And it was really interesting because it was an exchange. Like they were really like, wow, that's how we do film. And that we were, wow, that's how you do your work. So it was really like a great exchange. And some of the extras were there like every day because I wanted to have the same faces around my characters. So they were with us like 15 days. And sometimes we were like asking them, what would you do in that scene? How would you move? And they were helping us for the mise en scène, and they were adding their ideas. And sometimes the minors went to my actors and say, that's not how I would say that. So and they came to me, the actors, and say, he said me that, and I said, you do exactly what they say.
Of course.
Yeah, and from there it was like really, it was a great exchange. And some of the actors are still friends with them and are maybe gonna go visit them.
So it was a real,
yeah.
It was a real collaboration. Did they get the chance to see the movie?
Some of them, we did a kind of special little projection for the one who helped us, and it was hard for me because it wasn't possible for me to go. So they saw.
Because of what? A pandemic?
Yeah. Yeah. So the day before I was supposed to go, the color of the regions, red and yellow appears, and it was impossible. Yeah, it was hard. But they saw it, and we did FaceTime after, and they were so happy. And that was like one of my big goals, for them to be happy about the film. And we made it.
Yeah. That's a big victory right there.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a specific line in the story, or a specific storyline in the movie, which is all that adoption talk. I guess it resonated with me because I'm a kid that's been adopted, and I really saw a lot of, conversations that I overheard my parents having with their friends that have, biological kids and all that stuff. How did it came up for you in the scenario, and what does it mean?
Yeah, because it was all the idea of what a real man is.
Yeah.
And it should have money for his family. It should have it can make babies and everything. So that's the thing I choose for my character to get like challenged, because, and that's from there that he, I think, will change all his perceptions of what a real man is. And I wanted to like, it's the gang, the family, the group of men from the mine who he saw as real men that helped him to change his perception about it. So that was like, for me, really interesting to challenge my character that way.
That's cool. Let's go for a question from the public. And if you have any question, I want to remind you, you can write them in the small box Q&A down your screen in French or in English. We take them all. So Heather says, I just discovered Théodore Pellerin through your film. Thank you. He was brilliant. He deserved a nomination, award for his performance. I couldn't agree more. That's my comment. Can you tell us about the casting process for some of the other key actors and characters?
Yeah. It's important for me to see a lot of different persons for my casting. So I do like months of casting, and I see everybody, because even really good actors, I want to meet them, because for me it's important to see that if we have like a good dialogue, if we want to say the same thing with that film, if we can talk and work together. So sometimes it's just the personality doesn't match, and that's the fault. It's nobody's fault, but so I have to see if we can have, because I'm really working a lot with actors, as I say earlier. So we have to be sure that we're going to have a good relationship, working relationship. So I'm choosing not only the talents, and even in casting, we don't really see as much as an actor can deliver. So it's mostly are we good workers, colleagues?
Can you get a good chemistry between the two of you?
Yeah. And if they have a good understanding of what I want to say. So I do months and months, and there's so many first part in that film. And so we met a lot of person, and it was great. And so that's my way of doing it.
We're talking a lot about Théodore Pellerin, but I think I heard you in an interview talk about the process that you had auditioning James Einman. And for people who don't know James Einman, he's kind of a famous actor here in Quebec. He did a lot of things, but not quite what he does in your movie. So how was that kind of encounter between the two of you and the conversations you have had?
James is really, for the one who don't know about him, he's a Montreal born and raised, and he's really like gracious, and he talk really well, and so for me to choose him to do like a minors, it was bold. So he was the first, and he was really like for me auditions is like 45 minutes at least, and I think we took like half of the 45 minutes just to talk about, but why me? He didn't understand, because he's always playing like doctors or lawyers, or so
of course.
he was really like and I think he was maybe a bit afraid not to deliver. So he wanted to be sure that he was really the one that I wanted to work with. I don't know. I'm talking for him, but I guess sometimes it can be scary to do something that far of you. And he did great. He was like, everybody was like, this guy is a minor since 40 years. Yeah. So on a enregistré des voix. We
recorded voices,
voiceovers
or?
No, we record voices from minors before the shoot, and the actors can listen to it and get a bit of the kind of the accent.
That's how you get to the truth of the characters. So I don't know if we have any more questions. I didn't go.
No, I don't think so.
No, there's no questions anymore. So we'll continue just the two of us. And what's interesting to me about what you're talking about, and about I don't know, about the relationship between directors and actors, is how you keep that conversation open, and how you help them be the better versions that they can be, So in this movie, I caught myself a lot of times being like, oh, this is so real. Because sometimes, I don't know if people that don't speak French can understand that, but in French, sometimes it's really hard to have the right line of dialogue said by an actor, and to make it sound realistic, make it sound true. And in that movie, it works all the way through. How'd you get there? Is it an instinct, or do you work a lot with your actors to get there?
I think the thing is, I really love to write dialogues. That's kind of the thing I like to do. But my actors, they can say what they want. They don't have to say the line as I wrote it. So it just have to be like the same message in the line, and they can say what they want. For me, it's how we can get the real thing. If you ask an actor to stay in a sentence that you can feel that it's not right, I think it's kind of stupid to ask them to really say what you wrote, and them to feel not real. And so they say what they want all the time.
So the lines are ideas,
Yeah.
as long as it fits the kind
Sometimes
of
the
arc
dialogue
of the story.
can all change, but be kind of the same and be so much better. I always see my actors as creators, not only interprets. I don't know if we can say that in English, but I don't want them to just like do what's on the script. I want them to expand and add and bring ideas, and they're really good creators. Sometimes we kind of forget about it, but they can bring a lot to. They really get my film better all the time. So I let them do all of this.
So you need to have a lot of confidence in them. That's why the work prior to being on set is really
that's
important.
it.
I want to do a little comparison game because you directed Chien de Garde and then Souterrain. It's a really basic question, but I have to ask. How would you compare the two experiences, and what have you learned in the first movie that you applied to the second?
It's really bizarre because Chien de Garde was so easy to shoot and like nothing happened. It was like a walk in the park. And I was talking to friends, to directors who are my friends, and they were saying, it's hard. I have to shoot a movie. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It was so easy for us with Chien de Garde. We were just kind of lucky because sometimes things happen that you don't have control on. And but Souterrain, like everything happened. Like every day was we got like mountains to climb. It was horrible. It was but fun at the same time. But every day I was like kind of afraid that my film was
falling apart.
Yeah, because like to shoot in a mine, it's tricky, and you can't even like shoot 2 minutes more than you have on the schedule because they're blasting. They're getting
there was an explosion
rocket
every 12 hours. That it?
Yeah. And after there's gas in so you have that time and that's it. And try to deal a day more to your schedule. That's impossible. So we had to get in that time. And sometimes I was like getting out of underground. I was getting
above ground.
Yeah.
In the real world.
And I wasn't even sure what I shot in the day. It was it was like, so I think I learned more maybe on Souterrain, but I learned a lot on Chien de Garde also. But but one of the things I learned a lot on Souterrain, on Underground, is that my script was really longer than that. And like everybody was like, wow, that's a page turner. And I was feeling it too. And when we get to the editing, we didn't get really the same feeling that we had in like it. I understand that a script is a kind of it's a different way to I don't know, to communicate, or to it's a medium. It's a different medium. I don't know if I can say that in English. And
I think so.
The images and the sound and the actors, it's another one. And sometimes the bridge between them is really not what you think, and that's really crazy. So you have to be like very, very like be aware of that when you're shooting, because sometimes
what were you losing between like the script and what you were seeing by the images in the editing room? Was it the intensity? Was it the point of views of the characters?
One of the thing that's weird is rhythm. You can't really like you can have a rhythm in the script. It's important to have it, but it's not the same at all. And we had more different narrative in Underground. We were more following Julien, and we had like more scene with Mario too, and we all take that out because the rhythm of the film was like, it's long. It's in the script that was not the feeling.
Yeah.
And there's really something different. And for me, rhythm is so important because I want to do like very energetic movies, films. So I take a lot out after. Yeah.
It kind of answers the question that Pauline had in the Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
She was asking how much of the movie was rewritten in the editing process. But that's interesting because there's the idea of taking out some things, but there's the idea of kind of changing the storyline by taking out those things. So I guess the question is kind of still relevant. How much was rewritten in the editing process?
Yeah, we tried a lot of rewriting, so we did a lot of different versions. And mostly the big decision that we took was to really center everything mostly around Maxime, because at the beginning I was talking about a lot of different persons. At first, Underground was a film choral. No, I don't know the term.
Oh, that's
that one is hard.
That's out of my range. Sorry.
It's a film that
like
talk about
different characters at different moments. That kind of
not a principal one. There's multiple principal character, and during my writing, I mostly centered around Maxime, but we got all those characters development too, and at the editing we really said, okay, that's a film only about Maxime. But we go to Mario and Julien a bit, and after we I think we finished it with the crew, which is that was important for me. Film choral, ensemble movie.
Ensemble movie. Thank you, Mara. Question by Talia. She wrote, when writing Souterrain, what kind of sound design did you have planned beforehand, and how did you decide on that before actually seeing a comprised edit?
Yeah, thank you for your question.
Great question.
Sound in a mine is really special because the way it's made, and you can hear, because people think it's really loud, but it's not. It's when you're like alone in dans une galerie, I don't know what
gallery and alley.
Yeah, it can be like full silence. But when the trucks are moving in the alley, not that far, you can hear like really bizarre sound because of the way it's made, and sometimes it feels like you're in the
belly of the beast. Like it's kind of astounding and mute sounds.
I was calling them dinosaur sound because it was like, so we wanted to use that and use it to create the feeling of oppression. It was really fun to work with that. And even the musician, they sometimes use some of those sound in the music. They change it a bit, but they use it and they get inspired by them. And so it's really interesting to hear how a mine sound.
That's going to be maybe another basic question, but I think everybody asked themselves the question when they saw the movie. At least I did. How was it the first time that you went underground? Because I'm like the most claustrophobic human on earth, and I was just like, it must be crazy.
It is, but for me, it's, I don't know why I didn't get scared or stressed or. It was kind of natural for me. I think some people are more sensible to it, but it's way bigger than you think underground. When you're in the cage that goes down, the kind of elevator, that's the place where you're all squeezed together. But that's maybe 10 minutes or less. But when you're that's a bit long.
I'm like, what?
But when they were getting us down, they were more y allait moins vite, less fast,
Yeah, slower.
but slower. But when it's minor, it's going really, really fast. For us, I think they don't want to. They didn't want to scare us, so they make it slower. But when you're underground, it's bigger than it seems. So it's not the thing is it's not claustrophobic. It's when you think about the fact that if something happened, you can't go out like that. That's the thing that get people that make people panic. So for us, it was a question that we asked to everybody in the team and the actors before. Before.
Can you deal with that?
Yeah,
with the fact that we'll be shooting underground.
Yeah, and everybody said yes.
Of course, they want to
Yes.
work.
and they wanted that experience. Everybody was like, "It's so cool that you bring us here. It's a lifetime experience." But so yes, they all say yes, and the actors, some of the actors, I get to make them go underground one day before first day of shooting, just for them to go one time before, and
themselves, to the environment.
Yeah, and after I was eating with them for lunch, and I didn't went with them; it was just them, and they were all saying that how they were scared and stressed before, but didn't say to anybody. And when they were in the cage, they all looked at each other and they kind of say, "Yeah, I'm stressed. I don't know," and they all say, "Yes, me too, me too, me too."
But they didn't tell you until the end of the movie.
Yeah,
the shoot, at least.
That this day they were kind of okay, that's okay, and then they tell me, and I was like,
they told you. Oh, I get it. So it brings me to, I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't think I spoil anything, because at the end of the movie, all of the guys go back to the mine, even if all that tragic stuff happened. Let's put it this way. What did the ending meant to you in terms of a storyline, of the cycle that you wanted to explore?
When I did my research, I talked to a lot of maybe older miners who, because mines are less dangerous than before.
Yeah.
It's really important for them not to get people injured, or anyway. So it's really less dangerous. But like my uncles and some of them lost friends. I don't know. Friends underground, and they were all like, when they were talking to me about that, they were like really in their emotions, but they always say at the end, but that's what I do, that's my job, and that's what I can do, that's the thing I know, and I will continue to go underground and work anyway. It's my life. So that's the thing I wanted to say at the end. And we had a really long conversation between the guys before they were going underground for like the last scene, and they were saying that, but we took it off in the editing because we were feeling that we can understand that just with the shot of them walking in the mine. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. They're gonna continue and deal with it.
Yeah. And it's a reality that we don't often see, at least in our cinema in Quebec, that reality of the regions and all these specific jobs that we kind of know exist, but we don't really know how they work and how the impact of these jobs have on the men or women that who do them. So that was really interesting. I think that's going to be probably my last question, but what does it kind of say doing a movie like this on on the way we perceive in a province like ours, in a country like ours, that kind of really I don't know, cette job-là d'ouvrier, I'm sorry, it's just really, yeah, that working class people. What does it say? What did you want to say about that working class people that go underground day in, day out?
There's I don't know if I really thought about it, because for me it was my friends, my family, that's those characters. So, but there's a thing, I don't know if I go some, like, if I don't answer your question, but the thing I asked to them when I was researching was, did you love your job? Because for me, it was kind of, you're in Val d'Or, it's well paid, really well paid, and you just do it because it's there, and your dad did it too. And they were all saying to me with stars in their eyes, I love my job. I wouldn't do anything else. It's great. I'm working with my friends, and they can see like the concrete like l'avancement, results every day, and they're really enjoying it, and they're really well treated by the mine, and they got this sentiment d'appartenance, the feeling to be like
friendship, such solidarity, and all that stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, they love it, and I like to see that for my people from Val d'Or. It's great to love your job.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
because in the popular discourse, when we talk about like people working in mines, or people working on, I don't know, oil fields, we always talk about they're doing it because of the money, but it's not. What you're saying is that it's not about the money, it's about way more.
They're passionate.
The passion and the friendships that you can find,
the pride of working in that industry, and
and contributing in a really like kind of concrete way. Thank you, Sophie Dupuis. I think it's 7:44. We're supposed to finish at 7:45. It's now 7:45. And I see Mara looking at us with a big smile. So I'll let you finish, Mara. Thank you, Sophie. It was a pleasure talking to you tonight.
Thanks
to you. Congrats on the movie and all the nominations and all that stuff.
Thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you so much, Sophie, and thank you, Nicolas, for this great conversation. I think this was a wonderful way to kind of, close the 2021 Members Lounge. I'm really happy it was with you.